Now back to our main story. U.S. President Barack Obama is expected to take to the stage shortly at the Democratic National Convention to encourage voters to make Hillary Clinton his successor. Clinton yesterday became the first woman to win the presidential nomination of a major U.S. political party. Our U.S. correspondent Steve Mort joins us live from the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia for the latest. Thank you very much for joining us, Steve. Now, what's the mood like ahead of President Obama's address at the convention? And most importantly, what's the latest on the Russia email saga?
Yeah, that's right. Well, certainly the mood is definitely one of anticipation. The delegates now behind me are starting to pour into the arena here in Philadelphia, where they'll hear not only from President Obama, but also from Vice President Joe Biden, and also Hillary Clinton's running mate, Tim Kaine. They're all slated to speak this Wednesday evening. And certainly there's also a sense of anticipation about what's going to happen next in terms of the email saga with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump giving a press conference in Florida just within the last few hours, saying, quote, "Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press." Now, subsequently, a Donald Trump spokesperson has been trying to roll back those comments, saying that what Mr. Trump was trying to say was that if Russia was in possession of those emails already, they should hand them over to the FBI. But that clearly, according to that quote, is not what Donald Trump said. He seemed, at least as far as the DNC is concerned, to be encouraging a foreign power to hack emails of a presidential candidate and former U.S. Secretary of State. And that is something which is certainly roiling events here. Officials really can't believe what Donald Trump has handed them in terms of a political opportunity. They're basically now saying that Donald Trump should not receive intelligence briefings that he will be able to receive just at the beginning of next month. Both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will be eligible to begin receiving classified intelligence briefings when the two conventions wrap up. And that is going to be something now which the Democrats are going to push hard for Donald Trump not to get. They're basically saying that by encouraging Russia to hack the email accounts of the Democratic committee, that he should be ineligible to receive those intelligence briefings, and that essentially this was now a national security issue. So certainly a big political development as far as the Democrats are concerned, and one really that the Trump campaign seems to have handed them on a silver platter.
Now, Steve, how realistic is it that the Democrats would be able to stop Donald Trump from being briefed by the national intelligence?
Well, it's probably not that realistic. It depends. I mean, this just happened within the last few hours, and they're now going to be looking at this to see what it is that they can do to take this forward. But, Donald Trump shoots from the hip, and he's shot from the hip throughout the campaign so far. In terms of the support and the difference that will make in terms of his supporters, probably not very much. He's pretty much been static in the polls over the last few weeks, and he's been climbing of late. He really got quite a significant post-convention bounce, and in some polls, he's now leading Hillary Clinton nationally and in some key swing states. The Clinton campaign is going to be hoping to change that over the next couple of days. But, it's proven difficult for them. They've really faced a lot of resistance from Bernie Sanders delegates. We just saw yesterday here in Philadelphia a sit-in by Bernie Sanders delegates in the media center here, where they essentially barricaded themselves in and protested the nomination of Hillary Clinton. Her key job is to be able to get to the end of this week, deliver her speech without getting boos from those Sanders delegates. It's going to be a tough one. We saw protests outside the perimeter of the Wells Fargo arena here just yesterday, where many Sanders supporters, angry at what they see as a stolen nomination protest, gathered to call on Hillary Clinton to step aside and allow Bernie Sanders to take over that role. That, of course, isn't going to happen. But the Clinton campaign now is hoping that these Donald Trump comments, at least offer them a political opportunity that they can now try to put the whole Sanders episode aside, put that to bed, and now really focus on attacking Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has given them that opportunity. Whether or not it means they're going to be able to prevent Donald Trump from receiving classified briefings, well, we'll have to wait and see. But certainly it gives them a way out of the Bernie Sanders mess, at least for the next day or so.
Perhaps to wrap up this email saga for now would be to look at whether this or these statements from Trump will make him seem like sort of a loose cannon to the Republicans. Will that make him look bad in any way, or do they continue to stand by him?
Well, whether or not it makes him look bad really depends on who you talk to. Many Trump supporters have stuck with Donald Trump through thick and thin, whether it was his call for a ban on Muslim immigration to the United States, whether it was calling Mexican immigrants rapists, whatever it was. His controversial comments seem at least to not have had a negative impact on his polling numbers. Now, whether or not this does this time, well, that remains to be seen. Certainly Russia is viewed with skepticism by many on the Republican right. Their motives are viewed with skepticism. But, Donald Trump is certainly not new at this either. He's made a lot of comments that are very critical of NATO. He said that whether or not the United States comes to the aid of its NATO allies will depend on whether or not they've contributed enough money to the alliance. And that's something which, of course, is going to be to Russia's benefit, and that hasn't hurt him with Republican voters so far, according to the polls. Now, whether or not calling for Russia to hack the emails of a presidential candidate will make a difference, we'll have to wait and see, and that's certainly something we're going to be talking to Republicans and Democrats about in the coming hours. It'll be very interesting to see whether or not it moves the polls, but, given what we've seen over the last few weeks and months, I wouldn't guarantee it.
Now, onto Obama's expected address, we know that he'll officially be giving a full endorsement to Hillary Clinton. Take us through the significance of this endorsement.
It's pretty insignificant. President Obama has really suffered from low poll ratings throughout his presidency, thanks mostly to an onslaught of criticism from members of Congress and Republicans in general. But, in recent months, President Obama's approval rating has been in positive territory. He's really been ascending in the polls, in some cases above 50% approval. And some of his polls have shown him to be more popular at this stage of the presidency than Ronald Reagan was at the same stage in his presidency. So the Clinton campaign are going to be wanting to use President Obama extensively, not only here at the Democratic National Convention, but also on the campaign trail, because they see him now, given his popularity, as an asset to this campaign. His popularity ratings are higher than those of Hillary Clinton. So the fact that he's giving his endorsement is going to be significant. Joe Biden, the vice president, is also very popular, generally speaking, and relatively speaking, within the population. And this is also going to be a big occasion for Hillary Clinton to introduce Tim Kaine, her vice presidential pick, to the American public in prime time. Many of them don't know much about him. He's well known within Virginia, within the state of Virginia. He's not so well known outside of the state of Virginia. And this is going to be an opportunity for them to roll him out, to show him to the American public and what he's all about. And President Obama being there certainly adds some gravitas to the evening.
Thank you very much for joining us for that update, Steve. That was our U.S. correspondent, Steve Mort, giving us the latest at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, where U.S. President Barack Obama is due to speak tonight.